So, Taylor, we just talked about the dangers of information overload and how it can lead to analysis paralysis. But what happens when you think you've got a handle on all the information and you try to become a DIY expert in everything? That takes us to our next scenario, the jack of all trades trap. Imagine a couple, let's call them Mark and Sarah. They're diligent, hardworking, and want the best for their family. They decide to take control of their finances completely DIY: budgeting, investing, taxes, even estate planning. They've read some books, watched some videos, and feel confident they've got it covered. But this overconfidence leads to a critical oversight in their estate plan, potentially leaving their children vulnerable. So, Sam, jumping off from that scenario, is it really realistic to expect individuals, even very capable ones like Mark and Sarah, to become experts in every single area of finance?
Frankly, Alex, it's not. Finance is incredibly broad and complex. Think of it like medicine. You wouldn't expect a general practitioner to perform heart surgery, would you? Each area, taxes, estate planning, investing, requires specialized knowledge. You might be able to handle the basics, but true expertise takes years of dedicated study and practice.
That makes sense. I'm pretty good at budgeting and tracking our expenses, but the thought of tackling estate planning myself is terrifying. It seems like there are so many legal intricacies.
Exactly, Taylor. And that leads to my second question. What are the potential consequences of neglecting specific areas, like estate planning, in your overall financial plan?
The consequences can be significant. In Mark and Sarah's case, perhaps they didn't properly establish guardianship for their children or set up trusts effectively. This could lead to legal battles, unnecessary taxes, and ultimately their children not receiving the inheritance as intended.
This reminds me of what we discussed earlier about the illusion of control in our episodes on behavioral finance. They might feel in control because they're handling everything themselves, but they're actually exposing themselves to more risk because they lack the expertise to identify those potential blind spots.
Precisely, Taylor. As the article we referenced earlier mentioned, DIY can be great for some aspects, like budgeting, but it's crucial to recognize your limitations. Even experienced DIYers should consider regular professional reviews.
It's about building a team. You might be the quarterback of your financial life, but you need specialists on your team: a tax advisor, an estate planning attorney, maybe a financial planner to coordinate it all. It's not about giving up control, but rather leveraging expertise to make informed decisions.
So let's recap. Trying to be a jack of all trades in finance can be a trap. It's simply not realistic to be an expert in everything. Neglecting critical areas like estate planning can have severe consequences. The key takeaway here is to recognize your strengths and weaknesses. Don't be afraid to seek professional help where you need it.
So if I understand correctly, it's about finding the right balance between DIY and professional guidance. Kind of like how I change my own oil, but take my car to a mechanic for more complex repairs.
Exactly, Taylor. That's a great analogy. Now, for our listeners, take some time this week to assess your own financial strengths and weaknesses. Where do you feel confident? Where could you benefit from expert advice?